Joseph Stalin, who led the Soviet Union from the mid-1920s until his death in 1953, is often regarded as one of the most brutal and ruthless dictators in history. During his reign, Stalin presided over the deaths of millions of people, both through intentional acts of violence and through policies that led to famine and other forms of deprivation. Here are some of the dark truths about Stalin and his regime. Purges and executions. Stalin was responsible for a series of purges and executions that targeted anyone he perceived as a threat to his power. These included political opponents, military leaders, intellectuals, and even ordinary citizens. The exact number of people who were killed or imprisoned during these purges is difficult to determine, but estimates range from several hundred thousand to several million. Gulag system. Stalin also oversaw the establishment of a vast system of forced labor camps, known as the Gulag, where millions of people were imprisoned and forced to work in brutal conditions. Many of these prisoners were political dissidents or other perceived enemies of the state, but others were ordinary citizens who were accused of minor crimes or who were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Gulag system was responsible for the deaths of millions of people due to starvation, disease, and brutal living conditions. Collectivization. Stalin's policy of collectivization, which aimed to transform Soviet agriculture by merging individual farms into large, state-run collective farms, was also responsible for widespread suffering and death. Millions of peasants were forced off their land and into collective farms, where they were required to work long hours for little pay. Many of these farms were poorly run, and famine was a common occurrence. It is estimated that several million people died as a result of the famines that occurred during the collectivization period. Propaganda and censorship. Stalin's regime also relied heavily on propaganda and censorship to maintain its hold on power. The Soviet media was tightly controlled, and any dissenting voices were silenced. Stalin was also responsible for rewriting history to suit his own narrative, often erasing or downplaying the contributions of his political rivals and exaggerating his own role in the Soviet victory in World War II. In summary, Joseph Stalin's regime was characterized by widespread repression, violence, and suffering. The policies he implemented, including the purges, Gulag system, collectivization, and propaganda, resulted in the deaths of millions of people and left a lasting legacy of fear and mistrust in the Soviet Union and beyond.